Hey everybody, welcome back to our news roundup. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. Excuse me if my voice is low. Family is sleeping. Brother got school tomorrow, so I'm just trying to be respectful. But we are back for another news roundup. This one's a little bit on the lighter side. Not much news for this week, namely one thing specifically. But still, news nonetheless. So we're just going to cut this short and we're just going to dive right on in. So, of course, we have more news to discuss revolving around the lawsuits between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. Some new stuff has come about, some new developments regarding some new leaks, voicemails, all that stuff. So, we'll get into everything. Now, the day that this is being published, there is a court meeting that is going to be happening, and in that meeting, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are going to be seeking to dismiss Justin Baldoni's defamation suit against them, which I think is really bizarre to me because what kind of jurisdiction do they have over his lawsuit? I mean, if someone is suing you, I don't know how the defendant has any jurisdiction over the over those kinds of grounds. I don't understand it. I mean, if you file, unless determined by the court, you as the defendant just can't toss that out. So because initially I thought that they were surrendering, but I've looking into it, it's more like they're trying to they're trying to evade certain accountability, but that's to be seen. So we'll cover that next week once we get more information on that. But I'm just sticking with what happened this week, or this past week. But the big thing that happened was with the voicemail that was procured by TMZ, obtained by TMZ, and released, given to them from, of course, Baldoni's team. And in that voicemail, it was Justin Baldoni apparently apologizing to Blake Lively for some late responses regarding text messages, certain requests that Blake Lively had, specifically in looking into a PDF file, of the final script, and she wanted to implement some of her own ideas into the screenwriting process, and Baldoni didn't send that PDF immediately, and Lively, apparently based off the voicemail, because I heard the voicemail, it sounds as if Lively took some offense to that and thought he was preventing him from accessing the file, which in that respect it wouldn't be a wrong thing to do, since she's not a part of said process. She's not a credited screenwriter as far as I know. So Baldoni saw fit to apologize for his quote-unquote behavior, and apologized if his behavior on set even was not acceptable. After, mind you, she shared to him previous toxic experiences that she had with other filmmakers. She brought this up and talked to Baldoni about this, and he is admitting in this voicemail that, hey, if I did anything to make you uncomfortable, because there are people who are pointing to the footage that we talked about last week and saying that, oh, well, look at how Blake Lively feels uncomfortable and all this stuff. Here you have Baldoni in a voicemail just flat out saying, look, if I have done anything of the sort to make you uncomfortable, right? And obviously context matters, right? Because, there's obviously you can fabricate, evidence and information. So, I'm not saying that Baldoni is completely in the right. I mean, it's yet to be seen in court, right? But the fact is that he was willing to apologize for his behavior that may or may not have happened on set, and for the quote-unquote behavior that he had with not sending Lively something at the time that she wanted it to. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's that inherently is toxic behavior. That is insecurities also. When someone is expecting a message within a certain time, but they don't specify on that time, at least based on this context. There wasn't any, like formal like time that I need to see this PDF and this and that. And also, as I've illustrated, she has no jurisdiction in said process. Okay, she's a producer and she's an actor, but she's not a part of the writing process, which is a very, 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 very early on type deal. And as far as I can tell, she was not in that stage. She was brought on after she read the script. So yeah. Now, that was the one thing. That was the big thing, really. Now, a couple things happened after that. We have a court date, on February 3rd, and we potentially have a trial date now for March 9th, 2026. So, honestly, I'm a little surprised. I would have thought it would actually be a lot sooner. But so it may, in fact, happen next year. So not this year, but next year. And during this time, if the court permits it, still allows it to take place, Beth Downey's lawyer has been very adamant on releasing things to help clear his client's name, and they're looking to put out a website, which I believe we discussed in the last video, amongst a bunch of other things. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, as we're seeing, you all are probably seeing play out today in this video, as this video was released, Lively and Reynolds are trying to dismiss the defamation suit that Baldoni put against them, and apparently, Blake Lively or Lively's team, whoever, they're requesting that the lawyer, but Justin Baldoni's lawyer, not perform a deposition. He apparently cannot perform a deposition, likely because his lawyer's willingness to release information. That might be their excuse for it, which would mean that Baldoni's lawyer would not be able to interview Blake Lively and ask questions regarding the case prior to the trial. Now, according to some very small research that I made, refusal of providing a deposition when requested would result in punishment for contempt in court. So, again, she does not have jurisdiction on that sort of decision. So, do you see the constant thing that keeps being brought up? Her overstepping her boundaries and presuming that this is her playground. Oh, she can do this and she can do that. No, she cannot. Okay? She cannot. She cannot just say no to a deposition. She can't. Okay, that is something that by the courts that you have to do that. Okay? You cannot manhandle your way into the script and write things out, okay, because that is not your place. You are not a screenwriter. You are not a part of the writing process. The only reason Baldoni bent over was because, well, he's not that big of a name, and you have more star power. That's, according to some people, at least how they've seen that whole thing with Taylor Swift, and you bringing him over to his play, or Blake Lively playing, as I'm talking to Blake Lively, the Blake Lively taking Justin Baldoni to her and Ryan Reynolds' house, and like people were seeing that as like a power play, like, oh look, these are all my big, what did she say, like her big dragons or whatever like that. Like she's constantly trying to make decisions that are not hers, that she cannot even do at all. She has no power in that, but she wants to have that power. So, but just to reiterate again, only a few people truly know the dynamic between these two. Okay, we can only go by what's being shown and what's being discussed. So, judging by that voicemail, once again, this shows to me a very considerable side of Justin Baldoni and a very questionable behavior from Blake Lively. And if I heard it correctly, like the voicemail, like to me it sounded like he was playing Peacemaker after Blake Lively threw a fit over not getting writing access to the final draft. That's what it seems like to me. He's basically being complacent because of the power and the people that Lively has around her. And so in that respect, I could, like, it's unfortunate because of the position that he's in, but also in the position that he is literally in, he does not need to apologize for anything. She is the problem. Because once again, if not the case, where is her proof? If Baldoni's lawyer is constantly putting out all the stuff and all that stuff, where's Lively's stuff? Also, Baldoni's lawyer, as far as I can tell, is not breaking any laws in doing what he is doing. At least from what I can tell. I don't know, maybe there is some things that I'm missing, but he seems to be doing things legally speaking. But again, where is her proof? Why is her team desperate to stop Baldoni's lawyer from releasing more videos? Their reason is because it will taint the jury pool. I'm not joking. I think that literally was a reason that I read somewhere that, was why they wanted him to stop doing it. It's not because, well, it's false allegations or, oh, well, we have to let it decide, take it up to trial and all that stuff. No, they're saying, well, because it will taint the jury pool. No, it wouldn't. The jury are vetted before being selected. They're supposed to already not know anything so that the prosecution and the defense can present their claims without any biases there. Like, are they stupid? I mean, like, 'cause they don't pick jury duty doesn't work like that. I think you can be relieved of jury duty if you have knowledge of the case prior and you already have this perspective. I think that is a thing, right? And I'll be perfectly honest, never done jury duty. I'm basing that on a few movies. So I could be totally wrong. I could be completely wrong, but it sounds realistic to me. But maybe if you guys have done jury duty, maybe you guys can explain it to me. But yeah, it's very suspicious if you ask me. And for Baldoni, it just keeps showing him in a sincere and frankly honest light. So his lawyers will show you things, whereas Lively doesn't want you to see or show you anything until the trial, which is now a year away. You tell me who you believe. I believe personally what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is a fair guy. I'm not saying he's a great guy because maybe there's some things we don't know, but I'm not seeing, I don't have any like red flags. No, there's no red flags for me personally when I'm seeing that voicemail or the footage. So, but we'll see what happens with this trial. We have to now wait at least a year, supposedly. But we'll just wait and see. And continuing off from that, separate from all of that, there was some consequences, unfortunately, with just these allegations taking place for Baldoni. Obviously, we knew that resulted in him losing his ties to his agency as well as other things. One of those things was obviously working on a couple of projects that he had in the works with his production partner and Wayfair Studios, who are also being sued by, I believe, Blake Lively as well. But they were actually apparently in the midst of adapting Pac-Man. They were looking to do a adaptation of the Pac-Man video game, but apparently that is not currently moving forward. The project has been in development since 2022, and yeah, so apparently Baldoni wanted to make a public announcement about it um, back in, I think it was August or so last year. Um, I think I could be wrong, but I know he wanted to make some kind of announcement, but whatever the case may be, that never happened. Or maybe it did, but I didn't hear about it. Um, but I think it's safe to say that this won't be happening. Even if he proves his innocence, I don't think that this is going to come to pass. Um, I'm not sure if the access to the license is exclusive or it's public domain. It sounds like it's public domain. Um, but it's to say that I could see another studio making their own adaptation, as I think they have tried in the past. I think Warner Brothers tried to do a Pac-Man movie in the past, but it just never came to light. But this feels prime for animation. Like if you're gonna do Pac-Man, I don't think you do live action. That's what Pixels was, essentially. Um, I would say just do a straight animation. That just seems better suited for it. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, video game films are pretty hot right now. So I mean, I'm kind of surprised Pac-Man hasn't been touched yet. We have Mario, we have Sonic. You'd think that the next would probably be Pac-Man. So, I mean, we're having Zelda in the future too. So, get all the classic characters out there. So, because Pac-Man can definitely be, I think, uh, marketable. But we'll see. I really doubt that Baldoni will get to do anything with it though, which is very unfortunate given the situation. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with Pac-Man in the future. I really doubt that Baldoni is going to have much involvement in it though. So. All right, moving on from all that, coming a week after the release of the sequel, uh, Lionsgate has announced their intentions to develop a third film in the Den of Thieves series. This will have Gerard Butler and O'Shea Jackson returning to their leading roles, as well as Christian Guttigas. Good gas. Oh my God, sorry, I'm not gonna pronounce that last name. He has helmed the first two movies, and he is expected to return for the third one. And there's no release window at the time. It was just announced, so or basically greenlit. So um, the only reason I'm bringing this up is because Den of Thieves 2 has not turned a profit yet. It has not turned a profit yet. I'll be releasing a video very soon in regards to the box office report for this month. I'm planning on doing box office reports throughout the year, like for each month. So starting this month, you'll be seeing one for January. And then the next month, obviously, you'll see one for February, and then so on, so on, so on. So, but when you see that video, you'll notice that Den of Thieves 2 has not made money yet. It's not turned a profit yet. So in that respect, there's very little reason to be greenlighting another one. Now, I've read that the company sells off the foreign rights to mitigate costs. To me, that sounds like that just sounds very mood, considering the fact that this has yet to cover its production expenses. So, and no, just because a $40 million production at the box office makes the exact same figure, that doesn't mean that you have covered your expenses. That doesn't mean that you have to do double that, or in the case of today, when it's double digit to me, you have to do at least 2.5 to be considered successful. So it has not done that yet. Even for a double thing, it has to do at least 80 million to be considered successful. So, yeah. So, right? It cost. Let me check real quick, because I believe it cost. I believe it cost 40 million. Let me just make sure real quick. Yeah, 40 million. So yeah, if it was double, and currently it's sitting at 49.5 million as its box office. No, no, I don't think this. It's not going to end up really turning much of a profit. So there's no reason for this to be happening. Um, I think the only reason for it is just for Lionsgate to have something of a franchise outside of the John Wick series. Um, but yeah, there's not a large audience for this. There really isn't. So yeah, and considering Lionsgate last year, how they did financially, they're just kind of looking for their next it factor. They're looking for their next series, and they're hoping Den of Thieves will be that. Judging by the box office for the sequel, don't seem like that. This is the one. Doesn't seem like this is the one. So, alrighty, we have one trailer to discuss for today, and then I am going to take a nap because I am getting tired. So we have the trailer for the film Magazine Dreams. Now, this is an interesting case because this stars Jonathan Majors, who we've discussed on this channel. This was a film that was supposed to come out 2 years ago, back in like 2023. Of course, what happened with Jonathan Majors? He ended up going to court over, I believe it was over some assault charges, something along those lines. And we did a video on that. I'll actually leave it here if you guys want to watch it, talking about just my view of that case and about Majors as a person, which just to put it short and sweet. In that case, that court case, the man was innocent in that specific case, but in terms of the evidence that lays out the kind of person that he is outside of that specific incident that they were going for court for, yeah, he's not really a good man, at least to me. So, but somehow, some way, Magazine Dreams is coming out. Now, originally it was supposed to be distributed by Disney, but of course, with what happened, they ended up dropping the film. The film was back in the market, and then it sold to Briarcliff Entertainment, who I believe is also distributing the upcoming Looney Tunes film. So they're just they're just becoming that company that's just picking up losses. They're like, oh, you don't want to distribute it? We'll do it. Oh, you don't want to distribute it? We'll do it. So, but yes, this is Magazine Dreams. This stars Jonathan Majors, Haley Bennett, as well as Taylor Page. This is being written and directed by Elijah Bonham, who did a film called Hot Summer Nights with Timothée Chalamet, if I'm not mistaken. And this has a release date for March 21st, 2025. So, outside of just the history behind it, and, I could acknowledge that there's some commitment and work being put by Jonathan Majors. I can tell, especially physically, like there's definitely quite a physical transformation taking place. I think that the optics and the lens of what it's centralizing on, in my view, on really a pitiful and childish type mindset, this idea of just looking for validation and seeking attention, like this like very lonesome type persona. And I'm not saying that inherently is pitiful or childish. What I'm saying is that the depiction does not come off as genuine. What it comes off more as is, as I've said, it just comes off more pitiful and childish, and it just makes me more against the kind of person that they're trying to represent. And it might be it might be self-aware, and it may in fact be very informative, but I don't think it does. I don't think that it is. What I'm saying is that I think that it lacks that ability to truly look inward and recognize what those choices truly mean. What does it mean for this person to transform their body, to push their limits, to seems like cheat at some point because they're injecting steroids and stuff like that. like, what do those choices mean for that person? It seems like they're doing a king of comedy thing here, like to some extent, what Jonathan Majors is doing. Like, it seems like that's kind of an inspiration of sorts for the film, this king of comedy. Obviously taking itself a little more seriously than, well, king of comedy was definitely serious, but it's like, they're committing more to that sincerity, the drama, whereas king of comedy was a lot more of a psychological thing. But I'd be more interested if it acted more self-deprecating, basically, and not looking for some line of sympathy, because I, him walking around in his underwear looked no different to me than a baby wearing a diaper. And if that's by design, then I think that that's very interesting, but I just doubt that that is its intentions. So, because I think that by design of how they're portraying this person, like I said, it just seems pitiful and it just seems childish. If they're self-aware in that, then I definitely would be interested to check this out. But I just have my doubts that that's the case. I think they want you to believe a certain thing, and I'm just not buying that. I'm just not. Jonathan Majors seems good. He really does. But outside of that, I just have my doubts about the overall manner of the film and the choice in depiction and the choice of that, the rationale behind that depiction. I just don't think that it's as fulfilling or as informative as it may think it is. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll just have to wait for more, responses. Maybe, some reception will change me. But as it stands, it's not really that interested. It's not really interested for me. So yeah. So those are my thoughts for this week, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Basically, just more stuff with It Ends With Us. Little things here and there, like apparently we had a Pac-Man movie that was happening, but is not. We have Den of Thieves, which is happening, and it probably shouldn't. And then we have Magazine Dreams, which was not going to happen, and now it is. So, or was not going to be released, and now it is being released. So a lot of just back and forth in this week. A lot of back and forth. So, but you guys want to know your thoughts on all of these topics in the comment section below. Your thoughts on the whole ends of us situation. Your thoughts on just the downfall of that, just the stuff happening. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below regarding Pac-Man, Den of Thieves, Magazine Drives, all your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.